5 seconds of insight. A gift from the colossal creature. We received a profound gift from the colossal creature that crashed onto Earth. As it descended, it touched the minds of every man, woman, and child on the planet. This creature was unlike anything seen before, surpassing the size of any known life form. Its enormity defied even the most ambitious scientific theories, rivaling the complexity and scale of vast multi-organism collectives like the aspen groves of North America. When it broke through the atmosphere and landed in a remote section of the Sahara, it took hours for the earliest aircraft and helicopters to arrive at the site. By then, the creature was already on the brink of death, its soft, amphibious skin ill-suited for the harsh desert conditions. Scientists concurred that the impact alone had sealed its fate. Astronomers had initially misidentified the approaching entity as an unusually shaped asteroid, predicted to miss Earth by millions of miles. However, its deliberate course adjustments to avoid populated areas suggested a high degree of intelligence. This act of apparent intentionality led many to believe the creature possessed godlike attributes. Over the following years, new religions and cults emerged, with worshippers yearning to hear the creature's message once more. The message itself was simple yet profound: defend yourselves. This communication granted humanity a remarkable ability. Each person could perceive 5 seconds into their own future. While some dismissed this ability as trivial, it immediately reduced accidents and preventable deaths. Activities in hazardous environments took on an almost choreographed elegance, as people avoided injury with near-perfect precision. Researchers speculated that the creature had an extensive foresight ability, perhaps spanning millennia. This fragmented gift, distributed among humanity, allowed us a glimpse into the future, albeit briefly. Despite the creature's demise, its gift spurred human ingenuity and curiosity. The foresight ability persisted across generations, with even infants conveying the legacy in their early words. A significant breakthrough occurred when it was discovered that groups of people could extend their collective foresight. By forming a chain and responding to simple yes or no questions, groups could achieve insights several seconds into the future. The first major success involved 100,000 volunteers, enabling a weeks-long prediction that averted a devastating earthquake. This success ignited widespread interest, leading to more organized efforts and larger volunteer groups. Initially, questions were basic and easy to signal, but even these yielded significant insights. As the number of volunteers grew, humanity sought more profound answers. When 500,000 people participated, they confirmed that humanity was safe for at least a year and a half. This reassurance galvanized further efforts. The culmination of these efforts was the assembly of over 1 million volunteers. This allowed humanity to peer nearly a decade into the future. They posed 3 crucial questions. Had the threat arrived? Was humanity prepared? Had we reached the stars? The answers revealed that the threat had not yet come, preparation was lacking, but humanity had indeed begun exploring space. This foresight motivated humanity to redouble its efforts in space exploration and colonization. Critics argued this was a self-fulfilling prophecy, but the promise of a purposeful future inspired unprecedented progress. Nearly a decade later, humans had started colonizing other planets within our solar system, with aspirations extending to the stars. Thus, the creature's final gift propelled humanity toward a future of exploration and resilience, ensuring that we would no longer be confined to a single planet. This monumental foresight effort, though replicated on smaller scales over the years, marked a pivotal moment in human history. Of the 10 billion humans that existed across Earth and its colonies, 1 billion were involved in an extensive, interconnected system of foresight. This system, supported by exceptional communication networks, spanned the entire human domain and provided insights reaching more than a century and a half into the future. Initially, 2 critical questions were posed: whether humanity had encountered the threat and if we were prepared to face it. A third question emerged: had we found any other beings aware of this threat who could assist us? To the relief of many, the answer to the first question was no. The threat had not yet been identified. However, the response to the second question was less reassuring. While humanity had started making preparations, the lack of knowledge about the threat made designing an effective defense difficult. The third question revealed that we had indeed found traces of others, though the details were sparse. This discovery provided a glimmer of hope that not all was lost. This second great chain of foresight marked a significant turning point. The gift from the other god transformed many behaviors previously considered intrinsic to human nature. Self-serving actions and fears diminished as immediate threats to our health and safety could be preemptively avoided. The certainty provided by the foresight chains offered reassurances that religions had never fully been able to promise. Humanity expanded its reach across the stars, hoping to find others, but fearing that the absence of other species in our interstellar travels might be due to this great threat. Eventually, we uncovered records from other cultures that mentioned a great threat and echoed the existence of a dying elder being similar to the one from which we had gained our powers. These records, painstakingly collected from numerous stable planets within the Milky Way, indicated that this gift had been bestowed upon other species as well. However, the foresight granted to these species was usually only a few seconds and had similar impacts to what humanity experienced. Peaceful interactions, harm reduction, accident avoidance, and secure knowledge of the immediate future. Yet, there were no signs of a chain of foresight among these species, no greater perceptions beyond those brief moments. Each record abruptly ended with a mention of an unspeakable force that had annihilated them. These fragments of information, woven together from the ruins of numerous cultures, revealed that the entity responsible for these destructions was the same one that had granted the powers in the first place. This elder god, initially perceived as larger than any imaginable creature, was merely a vestige of an even larger entity, one that dwarfed solar systems. This realization, that the entity was not a sign of goodwill or defense against an external threat, but rather a gauntlet meant to prepare us for battle, shook Earth and its colonies to their core. Religions based on the elder god as a divine savior crumbled, sparking civil wars that lasted for generations in some regions. However, out of the chaos emerged a renewed determination to confront the threat. The chains of foresight were strengthened, formalized, and became a required part of citizenship, with most people viewing it as a solemn duty to safeguard humanity. As humanity expanded, the chain of foresight grew to include tens of billions of individuals, with populations across the galaxy nearing 1 trillion. Each person contributed their flash of insight, together piercing the veil of the future. Over generations, the chain of foresight extended, and eventually, 1,500 years out, humanity finally encountered the enemy. However, each time we faced it, we were unprepared, the vital answer to our second question remaining, not yet. After centuries of dedicated weapons development and probing surveys, we found the entity hiding in a dimension adjacent to our own, detectable only by its distortion of space and matter. With further observations, we assessed its capabilities, identified its weaknesses, and devised a plan. This endeavor spanned dozens of generations, for the entity could perceive 1,000 years into its future. Thus, our trap had to be extensive, thorough, inescapable, and inevitable. Entire solar systems were harvested, stars converted into Dyson spheres linked to containment projectors across interstellar systems, forming a cage that could be gradually activated. The process needed to be subtle, akin to the archaic analogy of boiling a frog slowly so it did not realize it was being cooked. Our goal was to contain the entity without alerting it, as failure to maintain containment would mean the end of our species. The containment process began almost imperceptibly, so minute that the entity would not detect the change. Detecting the presence of this entity was almost impossible, even with the most sensitive instruments. It was an imperceptible force, one that would pose no more of a barrier to the creature than a wisp of gossamer. Yet, as the years passed, the barrier slowly increased, bit by bit, piece by piece. Hundreds of years went by, and we watched anxiously, fearing the entity might escape its containment. But it remained dormant, waiting. As centuries passed, the critical threshold was reached and surpassed just in time. Not even a century later, we began to detect movement. The entity realized it was trapped, but it was too late. The cage, which had been growing stronger over the years, was now secure. The entity, larger than entire star systems, was now imprisoned within an invisible, imperceptible cage of power, impervious to life in our dimension. The cage locked it in space, preventing any form of travel or return to our dimension or any other. This entity, our ancient challenge known as Zothar, did not humble itself or show submission. Instead, it raged with boundless fury. Our cage held, but only barely, as Zothar lashed out with immense power. Despite its ferocity, our trap, laid with the care of generations, held firm. We deployed weapons, firing into the dimensional pocket where Zothar was imprisoned, but none could eradicate the beast. Eventually, a grim solution emerged. Through relentless experimentation, we discovered a potential weapon. A series of innocuous experiments in a nearly forgotten corner of the Alpha Centauri system had inadvertently revealed a weakness. The stability of the strong nuclear force, typically a universal constant, could be disrupted, causing all matter in the affected dimension to condense into a single mass at the speed of light. With no other option, we deployed this theoretical weapon, accurately termed a universe killer. It was fired, and the result was imperceptible to the naked eye. Only our sensors confirmed the devastating effect. Everything within the subdimension, including Zothar, was eradicated, condensed into a singular mass. This mass grew, warping the very fabric of space within that dimension, causing any remaining matter to accelerate towards the center of the supermassive black hole formed by the collapse. The effects rippled into our dimension. Ships and planets were dragged towards the center of the trap, which was then deactivated and dismantled. The subdimension continued to die, with our sensors detecting no more increases in mass. The void left behind was consumed by the ever-hungry black hole, now dwarfing any galaxy in size. Scientists debated the aftermath, unsure of what would happen next. 6 Earth days later, a critical mass was achieved, resulting in a massive eruption of energy. Ships and debris, dragged in over the last century, were ejected outward as the black hole's anchor disappeared. Analysis of this dimensional explosion revealed the birth of a new Big Bang. All matter was ejected, and new stars began to form from the clouds of gas, marking the birth of a new universe from the remnants of the old. This is the tale of our people, our legacy. As you threaten humanity with your warships and insults, know this. We have existed in this galaxy since before you gazed at the stars in curiosity. We have slain what was closest to a god in this dimension. We can manipulate the very threads of fate, unmaking and remaking the essence of the universe. We would do so again to ensure the safety of our people. So heed our warning. Retrieve the gauntlet you have thrown down before us, or we will use it to beat you into submission.